Well, hello, Blackhawks Nation. Welcome to the Blackhawks Daily, your favorite recap of the daily buzz around your Chicago Blackhawks. I'm your host, PJ. Thank you for tuning in. You know, you guys have been slogging through this whole offseason with me. Today, it's Thursday. Training camp is underway. So, how freaking exciting is that? I don't have to talk about Dredging the Barrel anymore because we're going to have so much content to talk about. I'm just giddy with anticipation. So, lots of things to cover today. Let's get into the top 4 topics of today, shall we? Let's do it. So, just in time for training camp, Tab Bamford over at Bleacher Nation dropped his top 20 Blackhawks prospect rankings, the 2025 training camp edition. With the Tom Curvers showcase behind us, it's a perfect time to dig in and see where these pipelines are shaping up. So I've got my own tweaks based on what I saw in Minnesota and what I've heard from analysis. So let's run through the top names, who's rising, who may slip, and what to expect as camp opens. So of the top 20 players in camp, he's got Sam Rinzel as number 1. Right-handed defenseman, 6'4", 195 pounds, shoots right, drafted first round, number 25 in 2022. Rinzel was a lottery ticket in the USHL, but he's earned his reputation. He looks poised to start the season as Chicago's top pair right-hand defenseman. Pair him with Alex Vlasic, and that could be our top defensive duo for years. His skating, his poise, puck handling, man, he looks mature for his age. He really does. And what's impressive is that he's added strength without slowing down. Speed kills, it always does. Number 2, Anton Frundell, center winger, 6'2", 204 pounds, left shot, number 3 overall this year's draft. Frundell is built like a tank with a wicked release. Comparisons to Sasha Barkov aren't just hype. They make sense in how he plays stronger than his years. He sees ice quickly and has ice in his stride and in his veins. He's back in Sweden for the season, which means more seasoning for him, more reps, more experience, but the tools are there to be a future middle six or more. Number 3, Artem Levshinov, right-handed defenseman, 6'2", 208, drafted 2nd overall in 2024. Levshinov is one of those rare defensemen who combines physicality, puck skill, and the kind of mobility you can't teach. He's missed some time because of injury last year, but when he got going, you could see why the Hawks invested so highly with him. Raw? Yeah, for sure. Young? Absolutely. But with time, this guy could easily be a top pair fixture. Number 4, Oliver Moore. 5'11", 188 pounds, left-handed shot. Center and left winger. He was picked 19th in 2023. Speed is this young man's signature. Moore is dangerous when he flies. He can play center or wing, has already shown defensive responsibility. In the showcase, he scored a very nice goal and made plays. But his testing ground will be finishing at the pro level. If he figures that out, Moore could be a very real NHL regular this season. Number 5, one of my faves, Nick Lardis, right winger, 6 feet tall, 165 pounds. He's thicker now than last season, which helps. He's a 3rd-round pick from 2023. 71 goals in the OHL last season, as we've talked about. That number doesn't lie. If his scoring can translate with stronger line mates, better shot opportunities, and more consistency, he's going to be someone the Hawks and fans get excited about. He's looked sharp at the showcase, more mature, stronger, and ready to push. And number 6, Kevin Korchinski, left-handed defenseman, 6'1", 185 pounds, 1st round, 2022. Still young at just 21, but scouts love his offensive instincts, his skating ability, and puck moving. On a staff that's leaning right with guys like Rinzel and Levshinov as top right side defensemen, the left side with Korchinski becomes even more important. Will he get top pair minutes or power play time? Maybe not yet, but he's definitely in the conversation. And so here's some other quick hits. Those are the top 6. Here's some other quick hits. A few more rising names. He had at number 7, Sasha Boisvert, big body, scored well at UND, strong middle 6 potential. Number 8, he had Marek Vanacker, left winger. Shoulder injury cost time last year, but 24 goals and 45 games last season is something absolutely to watch and consider. Big off-draft step coming. Number 9, AJ Spellacy. Again, physical, gritty, had shown flashes. He had a strong showcase as well. Could force his way in if he brings that style to the rink. And at number 10, Nathan Bem scored 31 in 59 last year in the WHL, has power forward upside. He also showed well at the showcase. That's the top 10. The rest of the top 20, 11, Ryan Green, 12, Roman Kanserov, 13, Jack Pridham, 14, Drew Comesso, 15, Mason West, 16, Vaclav Nestrashil, 17, Samuel Savoie, 18, Aiden Thomason, 19, John Mustard, and 20, Tage Harding. Honorable mentions were Stanislav Berezhnoy, Martin Mishiak, Adam Gahan, Gavin Hayes, Julius Sumpf, Joel Svensson, and Ilya Konarski. So here's where I differ slightly from Bamford. I push Lardis up faster if his early pro performance is strong. His scoring, pedigree, and his speed could leapfrog some of the guys who are more safe picks. He was already kind of high up there, but he can really get up there. I'd give Spellacy slightly more of a bump for his physical upside. Teams always need energy and grit. Sometimes effort plus physicality wins you spots. AJ's got that. I think the breadth of defense is deep enough for someone like Harding or Crevier could surprise if injuries hit or if a prospect falters. So what to watch for in camp? Who gets top pair reps among defensemen in preseason? Renzel and Vlasic, Levshinov's partner. Also to watch, how Moore and Lardis finish plays, pro-level finishing, puck support, and decision-making. Special teams, who earns power play time, who kills penalties. Sometimes, or that's often, where young guys prove value beyond raw skill. And which of these top 10 or 12 prospects crack the 23-man roster versus starting in Rockford but get early call-ups? This pipeline is real, right? It's gotten a lot of attention throughout the league. Bamford's rankings give a solid snapshot for sure. And with the showcase behind us, we've got even more clarity than ever. If you are making your own top 20 Blackhawks list on the prospects, who are your top 5? Let me know in the comments. Do you agree with Renzel at number 1? Would you swap out someone like Lardis or Spellacy? Here's to a season where some of these names become everyday Hawks. Go get them, boys. Love that. All right, moving on from there. On topic number 2, training camp, as I said, today. Starting today. You're watching this on Thursday. It's today. And with that, the Jeff Blashill era officially begins. We've got a packed roster full of young talent, a fresh coaching staff, veterans looking to bounce back, and a lot to figure out before this team boards a plane to Florida to open the regular season. When? October 7th, Sunrise, Florida. This is going to be one of the most important training camps in recent Blackhawk history because the youth movement is here. Some guys are trying to crack the NHL lineup for the first time. Others are fighting to hang on. And yeah, there's going to be some trades. So let's talk about the 3 biggest questions facing the Blackhawks heading into camp. Number 1, who are Connor Bedard's line mates, right? We've kind of pontificated about this before. The hockey world's been screaming for 2 years that Bedard needs more help. He does, clearly. And look, he's only 20. He's not even close to his ceiling yet. But if we're being honest, he does need the support. So let's look at the most common line mates from last year at 5-on-5. Number 1, Ryan Donato. He had 43 Corsi with Bernard. Tyler Bertuzzi at 42%. Frank Nazar with 41%. Teuvo Teravainen, 47%. And by far, the best shots for percentage at nearly 50. Oliver Moore and Landon Slaggert right around just under 50%, but in small sample sizes. So what does this tell us? Teravainen, a smart, responsible playmaker, works. Donato had a career year, and Bertuzzi matched Bedard in goals, but Teravainen drove more offense overall. That should matter. Blashill's staff needs to answer this early. You've got a generational talent at center. Now, build the right line around him. So we'll see what he does. It'll be interesting to see how his tinkering goes during the season. Number 2, what is the opening night blue line? So this decor could be young, like crazy young, right? We already know Alex Vlasic and Connor Murphy are locked in. Murphy, obviously, the veteran. And we're assuming that Sam Renzel makes it. He looks ready. That leaves 3 open spots with a crowd of kids fighting for them. So here's where it gets fun. Levshunov and Korchinski are the wild cards. If one of them makes it, that gentleman will probably quarterback the second power play. If both make it, give me both of them together on the second unit, and let's get weird. I'd love to see that. And then you've got, as we mentioned, Ethan Del Mastro, Nolan Allen, Louis Crevier, and possibly Wyatt Kaiser, who's still without a contract, but he was listed in the training camp roster. And Matt, and yesterday I was saying Grzelcyk, but it's Grzelcyk, which is not how it's spelled, but that's okay. Who just showed up on a PTO. That's a ton of depth, only so many jobs, right? Unfortunately. So that's going to need to get figured out. And number 3, how do we handle 3 goalies? And this one's a little tricky, right? Spencer Knight, locked in for long term. Arvid Soderblom is on a 2-year deal now. These are your top 2. Simple, right? Well, not exactly. Laurent Brossoit is still under contract, right? Our favorite ghost payrollee, but injured again to start camp. If he's not healthy, this is going to work itself out. But if he is healthy, now you've got 3 goalies in 1 net. Not ideal. There's also depth in Rockford with Drew Comesso and Stanislav Berezhnoi pushing from below, so the organization has options, but someone's going to get squeezed if all 3 NHL goalies are healthy. So that's it. Training camp starts today. The Blackhawks have real decisions to make. Who gets the golden ticket to ride shotgun with Bedard? What does the blue line look like come October? And how do they sort out this goalie logjam? Let me know what you're watching for in this camp. Drop your projected opening night lineups in the comments. And hey, just let us know. We'll talk about it. So that'll be awesome. But, overall, one thing to say about this training camp, we're back, baby. Let's get it, right? Oh, I can't wait. Moving on from there, a gentleman that we have talked about, but we haven't talked about enough, I don't think, is a fan favorite, Mr. Landon Slaggert, Notre Dame boy. As training camp looms, or starting really, one question that keeps popping up, will Landon Slaggert be in the Chicago Blackhawks opening night lineup this year? He showed flashes last season, and with the competition heating up, this might be his year. So let's break down the case for him, the obstacles, and what he needs to do to make that jump. Last season, Slaggert played 33 NHL games and chipped in 6 points. Not huge, right? But he did bring physicality, energy, speed, and heart. All traits coaches love in a bottom 6 forward. He's under contract through 26-27 on a one-way deal, which shows the Hawks believe in his NHL potential, not just as a call-up. Being paid the same regardless of NHL or Rockford means the front office expects him to compete for NHL minutes. He has real strength and battle play, board work, loose pucks, hits, forecheck energy. In a lineup that needs depth, these are roles that get you into games. If Slaggert shows up in camp and owns those energy shifts, he makes life hard for veterans competing for that same spot. Now, on the flip side, the depth of this competition for these slots is real. The Hawks have a lot of young forwards pushing, right? We've talked about them a lot. Lardis, Moore, Green, Spellacy, etc. If you're on the bubble, you need not just energy, but you're going to need consistency and offensive contribution. Slaggert isn't known as a high scorer yet. And that puts pressure on him to be almost perfect in those middle bottom 6 minutes. Turnovers, defensive lapses, or slippage in work ethic will not go unnoticed. Preseason and camp reps will matter. If he starts camp slow, he could be at risk of starting in Rockford. There's little room for sluggishness. Also, things like special teams usage may be limited for him unless he proves very quickly that he can handle defense, forechecking, and positional responsibility. So to make the opening night roster, here's what Slaggert should focus on. Consistency in practice and preseason game. Show up every shift, physical work, and compete. Make impact plays, hits, forechecking, turnovers, using speed, showing up in tight spaces. Having contribution beyond energy. Chip in offensively, even secondary assists, tips, rebounds, stuff like that. If he can show that he can provide more than just tenacity, he strengthens his case. Quick learning and adaptability. If coaches throw him into different lines, maybe change his winger combo or face tougher defensive matchups, can he pivot and still look useful? Versatility helps. So will Slaggert make the lineup? My prediction is, yeah, I think he will make the 23-man roster, likely in a bottom six wing role. I don't expect him to be a regular top six contributor yet. He'll earn a spot through energy, hustle, solid forechecking, and making the most of chances. If injuries hit or veterans falter, Slaggert's name will be one of the first to get rewarded. And for fans, keep an eye on his preseason shifts, special team chances, how coaches comment on his consistency. If Slaggert works smart in this camp, October could be the month he truly belongs in a Hawks sweater every night. So, all right, that's my take on Landon Slaggert. Are you hoping to see him on opening night? What do you need to see from him in camp? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Of course, love that. Really appreciate it. And, of course, the comments are something special because we always talk about the comments. Today, we only had one. And we had the very wonderful repeat offender, Mr. Ryan Austin, 1970. He said, PJ, you should make note that Matt's last name, no, we're talking about the guy that I kept calling Grizelchik. The way to pronounce it is Grizzlick. So I did mention yesterday I was going to murder his name. So I came through on my promises. Anyway, Grizzlick, I'm going to work on that. Thank you very much. But Ryan also said, I think they're bringing Grizzlick in to pressure Kaiser to sign. Interesting. Plus, maybe a few of the kids go down to the minors this year. Chicago dumps him at trade deadline for picks. Someone heading into the playoffs would absolutely want him on their team. Plus, with the LTR changes, if Chicago signs him from a PTO, he will be uber cheap. That's actually very true. Ryan, Mr. Intrepid Ryan, thank you for your comments. Thank you for helping me say his name correctly, but also thank you for your insight. Very interesting take. I think it could pressure Wyatt a bit, right? Because all of a sudden, Wyatt was like, he and his camp are like, okay, what we're going to do. And now we sign a PTO veteran, 40 points last year. Oh, shoot, I better do something. So I agree with that. I didn't think about it, but I agree with that. It puts the pressure on. So thank you, Ryan. I really like that. Well, that's a wrap today, Blackhawks Nation. Please continue with the comments. Please tune in every weekday to get your Blackhawks Daily download. And don't forget, if you're new here, please smash the like button. Smash it. Hit subscribe and also share about the channel. Many of the people who've already subscribed, they share about the channel. It's awesome. Thank you so much for all that, guys. Thank you so much for all the likes. Thank you so much for being my ride or dies as we head into this glorious centennial season of the best team in hockey with the best fans in all of hockey. And really, Chicago fans are the best fans of all sports in the best city in the world. Really appreciate it. That does it for today. I'm PJ, and I will see you next time on the Blackhawks Daily.